She's planning on going on HRT at some point, and we've been talking a lot about what's the timetable for all of this stuff. When do we plan on have kid one? If we plan on having a second kid, is she going to be like banking sperm? Different stuff like that, like before she starts HRT. But with so much trans legislation in the pipeline in so many different states, we've been talking a lot about moving to different parts of the country. We're both currently in Michigan, so
okay.
Yeah, it's one of the safer places, but she really wants to go to a state that has like a sanctuary law for trans people, just really making sure that we're in like a secure position.
Before we get into this video, I wanted to let you guys know that it's sponsored by my Patreon. Patreon is where I upload a ton of my personal vlogs and other things that I don't post publicly to YouTube. And if you're interested in that sort of thing, definitely check out my Patreon. If you followed my side channel, you know already that I have pushed all of my content from my side channel to my Patreon and will continue to upload that type of content onto my Patreon. Right now, you can see these videos if you are curious. And yeah, I'm excited to expand, and Patreon is exactly how I do that. So if you enjoy my content, consider supporting me on Patreon. Hey guys, it's Kat, and it's time for the True T Call-In Show. I'm really excited to have this conversation about transgender parenthood. If you want to go over my thoughts in the podcast, you can listen to it on all podcasting platforms. But basically, I'm the sort of person who I feel divided about parenthood. On one hand, I feel like I would be an awesome mom. But on the other hand, I don't really want kids because of the way that it would change my life. But I know that for transgender people, there's a question of fertility, whether or not you're comfortable physically having children, and a lot of other really interesting kind of, nuanced conversations to be had about transgender parenthood. So I wanted to open up the calls to my audience to have some conversations about what that looks like for many people, what parenthood looks like for many people who are transgender. So let's get into some calls. Who am I speaking to, and what is your true T?
Nice to meet you. My name is Gabby. I'm about to graduate from college with my bachelor's, and my girlfriend, who's also trans, we've been talking about the process of starting a family and what that is going to look like once I'm out of college and once we both have secure employment. And something that I wanted to talk about was just how many conversations that I was expecting to have, just logistical concerns and stuff like that. I was prepared for a lot of the conversations we've been having, but some of them have been really blindsiding me.
What were the blindsides?
So some of the stuff that I was expecting, pretty standard. She's planning on going on HRT at some point, and we've been talking a lot about what's the timetable for all of this stuff. When do we plan on have kid one? If we plan on having a second kid, is she going to be banking sperm? Different stuff like that, before she starts HRT. But with so much trans legislation in the pipeline in so many different states, we've been talking a lot about moving to different parts of the country. We're both currently in Michigan, so
okay.
Yeah, it's one of the safer places, but she really wants to go to a state that has a sanctuary law for trans people, just really making sure that we're in a secure position, making sure our parental rights would be honored and stuff like that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's just not something that I had really considered. I know it's bad, but I've been trying to avoid a lot of the news because it makes me really sick to my stomach. I know I should definitely be more informed, especially since we're at the point where we're having these conversations, but
yeah,
it's been difficult.
You know what though? I'm the same exact way. I am the same exact way right now because it's so overwhelming. And I would say one of the best things I've done for my mental health is to not read all that news, because as much as I should be informed, and I understand definitely why you should be informed, I feel like a lot of the discourse is designed to make us feel dread, and I think it's powerful to take that power away a bit and continue living your life if you can. You want to be aware, but I feel like not falling into the dread is probably for the best right now. How long have you guys been making that plan? Because a lot of these things are kind of popping up right now. And one of the points I made in the pre-show is I filmed that podcast episode at the very beginning of this year, and I did not have any understanding how much worse it would get even in that short period of time. So I'm curious about the timeline.
It hasn't been until like the past 2 or 3 months, I would say, that things have started really like getting super duper serious when we've started like making all of these different plans. I think it's coincided with the fact that my girlfriend is older than me, so she turned 26 earlier this year. And one of the conversations that actually really surprised me was that she wants to have at least child one before she turns 30.
Interesting. Why is that, though?
Yeah. So her parents are older than mine. Her parents had children later in life. And I think that there's just maybe a little bit of anxiety for her around not having enough time.
First of all, y'all are 26, okay? Let's not, y'all are still very young. I'm 32 and I joke about being old, but I'm also still young.
Yeah.
Y'all have time. A lot of people do have children in their early 20s, and then by the time they're done raising their kids, at least the most physical part, they're in their 40s and they can still have a whole new life. I get why you would want to have kids quickly.
I think that some of that added anxiety is just she has very defined plans. She knows that she wants to medically transition at this point in her life.
That's also a part of it too, yeah.
And so that affects fertility and stuff on her end. I'm not sure if I want to pursue medical transition at some point in my life, but not in the near future, if I would at all. So I think that's definitely something that weighs on her mind a lot more than it does for me. So I'm trying to be empathetic, but some of the things that she does say, I'm going to be middle-aged in my 30s, and just like all of this kind of anxiety that she has about getting older and missing her window of opportunity, it does seem a little bit founded, but again, I am trying to be there for her.
That part's unfounded, but the part about HRT and medical transition making it actually viable or not, that's not. So with that, I super understand. Let's have kids young.
I'm not sure where like the general, like the garden variety aging anxiety ends and where like the specific trans anxiety around aging begins.
I feel like
I'm trying to
I feel like with trans women it's quick, because I feel like if you feel like if you're not on hormones before you turn 16, it's like you've got a lot of catching up to do. So what were some of the other hurdles that you guys faced, aside from obviously the encroaching negative political atmosphere?
Yeah, so in addition to that, we both especially struggle with things like depression. I also struggle with things like anxiety. There are certain strains of neurodiversity, I guess you would say, that like both sides of our families. So a lot of it is just about healthcare, not just in the sense of like the two of us being trans, but in the sense that the child/children that we produce are probably going to need quite a bit of medical assistance/intervention over the course of their life, just because of our chemical balances. So that's a lot of where the moving stuff has also been rooted in, not just escaping like current political climates and political attitudes, but also just making sure that we're set up with a more robust healthcare system. There is no like universalized childcare, like public childcare system. A lot of it is it's giving back alley, if that makes sense.
Yeah, someone's house. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. So it's just been a lot of different concerns like that. And then it's been interspersed with cute conversations about, oh, what are we going to name them? Let's go through all of the letters. And it's like, there's quite a bit of tonal whiplash in the conversations we've been having, I feel like, because it gets very heavy.
Yeah.
But then that's interspersed with the more like idyllic stuff.
Do you guys feel ready though to have kids like right now? That's always my question with people.
Yeah. See, because I'm such an anxious person, I was initially very surprised when she said she wanted to start trying in the next few years. But I feel if the decision were like given to me solely, I feel like I would always find reasons to keep pushing back. It's, oh, we're not ready. We don't have enough money. I would keep finding reasons to not do it, and then eventually we would cross a threshold where we couldn't anymore.
You're really making me understand in a way that like for transgender people who want to have children, there is like okay, so I have to have kids quickly, or the pregnancy is going to be complicated or I'm not going to be able to impregnate. Like it's going to,
Yes.
and those are real concerns that may actually not figure themselves out as quickly as someone will figure out their life to be ready to have kids.
Oh, definitely.
And can I ask, why are you guys focused on having children yourselves right now? Is there a reason why adoption wouldn't be something you would entertain, or is it something you're open to?
We haven't really had any serious conversations about adoption. I think for both of us, it was just assumed that we would have children biologically, just because we're both currently in the position to do that.
Interesting.
I also personally, I haven't brought this up to her, but if she were to ask about adoption, I think I would say something along the lines of I have personal misgivings about the adoption industry, because in a lot of places it is very much an industry where they shuffle kids around. Sourcing like an ethical adoption and something like that, I think would prove challenging. And I think there's a lot more, in our case anyway, I think having a child together represents a lot more certainty in a lot of ways.
Yeah, you know where the kid comes from, you know who the kid is. You don't have to worry about abusive adoption agencies. That makes a lot of sense. I feel like I could probably stand to know way more about the adoption process than I do even as an adoptee, because as much as I understand that there are bad things in the adoption system, I also know just from my own personal experience that there are very positive things as well. And I know that I'm really thankful that I was adopted, and that from what I could piece together, I guess the reason Are You Ready is such a question for me is because I know that my mom, her main reason for giving me up was that she wasn't ready. And from what I know of her relationship to my bio father, that was probably the best choice. I always wonder about readiness. It's such a complex topic. It's just adoption, children in general. It's so complex. And I almost feel like there isn't the best solid answer, because of course I say just adopt, but you're right. The adoption industry can be so terrible.
There's just a little bit too much gray area for me. It's more ambiguity than what I'm comfortable with.
I totally understand why having your own natural children would be the more surefire way to get it. But anyway, I should take the next call, but I really appreciate you calling in and giving me your true tea. Thank you for sharing. Bye. I really appreciate all of you guys who called in and gave me your true brew of true tea. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with me. You guys can always get true tea on my YouTube channel the first Saturday of every month. But next month we will be taking a bit of a break. When y'all see this video, I will probably be on, in New Orleans having a good old time because I'm going on vacation. Girl, I need it. So we will not be back next month. We will be back the following month. And when we come back, we'll be back with an all new version of True Tea, freshly shot in this apartment. I'm really excited to show you guys what my apartment looks like once it's all finally set up. And I'm really excited to start this kind of new journey with True Tea. So on that note, I will talk to you guys next time. And I want you to always remember and never forget that you are beautiful and you are loved. Bye.